did it feel like, I know this is story time. Did it feel like that the me became so unbearable that it
Yeah,
had to be ended almost? That
yeah,
was my
yeah,
experience. It was just so
yeah.
unbearable. It was so
Oh, yeah.
heavy.
So in my story, yeah, I would say exactly that. Yeah, I couldn't live with myself. I just couldn't. Just I can't. I can't live with myself any longer. So the seeking became more and more desperate. But it became, in the desperation, it also became very obvious that no matter what I read, how many meetings I went to, how many YouTube clips I watched. I mean, I was ordering a dozen books off Amazon a week at one point, and reading them all, and watching 30, 40 hours of YouTube a week, and going to meetings if I could. And but it's sort of, I would say, it's rather than exploded, it's like self implodes. It's just like falls in on itself, because it was so obvious that none of that knowledge or understanding, because I had really, it was very obvious to me that I had a thorough understanding. I had a very good understanding of the message, and it was also very obvious that that had got me nowhere. And I really mean absolutely nowhere. So I'd apparently been on this path, this journey, for say 10 years, and I hadn't moved an inch. It was really clear I was no closer. And so me then started to scream and screamed a lot. I mean, I made a lot of fuss. Me made a lot of fuss. And in that, I don't know, you could say in that emotional outpouring, okay, I'm going to be really dramatic. I'm going to say life came and killed me, came and dragged me over the cliff, came and pulled me down into the abyss. All of those analogies came to it felt like all of that. So it felt like falling and drowning and burning and being gutted, and you name it. It was really excruciating. And I think now the funniest as in paradoxical, is that the thing that I longed for, which was the end of me, that's what I was seeking, apparently. That's what I told myself. That would be what I wanted. Well, when it came to it, that's not what me wanted at all, of course. So I screamed and kicked and swore and spat, and I did everything I could to cling on to my existence. It was really dramatic. It was horrible for the people around me as well.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel a very similar story, because there was this me wanting to end, almost kind of like self sabotage me, and I did everything to get to a point that maybe I would heal. Maybe if I teach trauma stuff, maybe if I become super spiritual, maybe if I became vegan, maybe if I practice yoga 4 hours a day and 2 hours of meditation, and then
Yeah,
and I became a teacher of it. When I was teaching it 20 times, 30 times, this workshop over and over again. But
yeah,
but the me was screaming. It was in so much suffering. It was shrieking in pain. And I had to put up this front. And then I completely, I think, just self-sabotaged. And it was just so disastrous that it was just like, it was almost like it's almost kind of like when they say, be careful of what you ask for.
oh, absolutely. Oh, I get that completely. I'd asked for this. Oh, and then life came and took me. It's what I'd asked for, and I'm telling you, I so didn't want it when it came. I did everything. I'm not joking. I clung on for dear life. It was like I had bloodied fingers just trying to hold on. And then all I can say is there was no ending to that, or there was no knowing an ending to that. There was just, I think I'd lay in bed for a couple of weeks in this what was left, which was empty. And then it suddenly dawned on me that there was just this emptiness and this incredible peace. And I said, I remember the thought coming, this is the peace that passes all understanding. Because I don't know anything about anything's happened. I don't know that anything's been lost. I don't know. Certainly, it was very obvious nothing's been gained. But I didn't even know the loss, which I felt sure that I would know the loss of myself. I was absolutely certain of that as a seeker. Of course, I could only presume that there would be some knowing of losing myself. But of course, there wasn't, because nothing has been lost. Only the illusion of holding on to, it was the illusion that was holding on to the illusion. But I tell you what, I certainly didn't let it go. So when I hear now, when I hear any teachings about letting go or surrendering, I go, yeah, good luck with that. You're never doing that. There's no way. There's no way me will let go of me. Of course we wouldn't. Me's job, the self's job, is to hold on to itself, to confirm my reality. Because I'm not real, I have to constantly work at that. I mean, that's why life is so incredibly heavy for a self, is because maintaining the illusion that I am real is fucking hard work. I mean, that is an endless job. That is from the moment you appear on waking in the morning until you disappear and you die at night, every day in waking. And of course, you have to do it. You have to do it unconsciously when you dream sleep as well, because me turns up in that as well. There we go.
I lost my train of thought. That's such a beautiful. I think this is really important. When I was going through something similar, I used to teach people how to surrender. I used to be a surrender teacher. I used to teach ecstatic yoga.
Yeah.
I used to teach a whole bunch of that, but the me kept on clinging on and clinging on, and when life kind of like what you were saying, life kind of like came in and massacred everything, the name, the fame, money, relationships. When this self was starved of all of that it was clinging into, and it really had nothing. There was no surrender, because it was already it's
a defeat. It's a defeat, not a surrender.
Yeah, it's a defeat. It's like it got starved, it got famished, it got completely
you could say that, yeah.
Demolished.
It's like, yeah, absolutely smashed to pieces. Yeah, it's a demolition job. Yeah, demolished is good.
And then the me, the idea of the me kind of like having freedom and liberation is a really big concept of like being successful, being being loved by everyone, having lots of having a legacy or money or all that kind of stuff, or being a teacher.
Yeah.
And then life kind of like apparently comes in and cuts all of that, and then basically like, what do you have left?
Yeah.
And then even at the demolishing or the destruction of all of that, there's the peace that comes.
Yeah.
That passes all understanding. Like, why do I feel so peaceful? Why is this so relaxed now? When there's,
how can it be okay to lose everything? Well, it is. Yeah. That's the message, really. That's the crux of the message. How could it be okay to lose everything? Well, because it is. Because actually in the losing everything, you lost nothing. There is nothing, but there was no one to lose anything in the first place. And there is actually nothing that you can possess anyway. There's no one to possess anything, and there aren't actually any things to possess. No one has anything more than anyone else, because there aren't ones. There aren't you, and there isn't you and me. So, and that sounds as though, okay, you'd be totally free of envy, but that's not strictly true. I saw a guy in a sports car yesterday and thought, oh, I'd like that. But the thing about that is that's perfectly fine. Whereas, you know, for me, it would have been, well, how can I go about achieving that? Or, you know, or really disliking the guy for having it. Well, no, I can just feel great love for, oh, that would be lovely to drive that sports car, you know. It's very simple. Life's so simple without me. That's how it is, really. The simplicity of life is just glaringly obvious. In so little effort, I was the effort. I am is the trying. So not trying, wow, that's indescribable. All I did as me was try, and the moments of joy and beauty and love that I remembered as me were simply the absence. Were those moments when I wasn't there, and there was no trying. There was no me trying, and then there was just what is, and there what everyone recalls as, well, they were wonderful. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but that was wonderful. So this isn't an end of something that is real. That's the thing. That's the message. So there isn't actually anything to end. So the whole notions of enlightenment and liberation become mute. They become they just don't have any. They're redundant, really. They're redundant notions because life is just as it is. So if life as it is feels like it's my life, well, that is how it is. And there's no, it doesn't. So these words aren't trying to get you to become a no me, because there's no sense that you are a me. So that gives, I think that gives the message a completely different flavor to most seeking, because most seeking messages, most messages that have a path or a way or have a goal at the end are saying you can become something. And this message is saying there is no one to become. There is no possibility of becoming. There is just be. There isn't the coming. There is no becoming. And well, that's the peace and the freedom. That's why there's such ease. That's why life becomes easy. And it doesn't mean it's always happy. I know I haven't spoken about happiness, but I can also get a bit pissed. There can be anger just come up when I hear about, you know, happiness. You know, this is not talking about happiness at all. This is liberation for all emotion, liberation for life as it is. Sadness is just as beautiful and full of love, if not more so than happiness. Happiness is for me. I don't even know what people are talking about when they say happiness anymore. I have no idea. I just think it's a totally illusory thing that as selves we discuss with each other and say, that's the goal in life. Well, it's not the goal in life. Life doesn't have a goal. That's the freedom. Life without goals, life without purpose, life without meaning. Just life, beautifully being as it is. Ugly. It doesn't, when I say beautiful, I mean all of it. It's completely all inclusive. There's no exceptions. No one arguing with life. No, again, don't misunderstand me. I don't mean that there's agreement with everything here. If there's disagreement, that's perfectly okay. That just comes out. And of course, you could be upsetting a lot of people, whereas before, me would have said, best to keep quiet here. You probably didn't know what to say. Well, now it's likely that you go, sounds like shit to me. and not care, really. So it can appear like the person who was very considerate is not as considerate as before.